Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's tool review is going to be a tool from Kobalt. This is the 41-piece ratcheting bit driver and socket set. Part number is 6525271. So a couple people had sent this to me in an email. I went to my local Lowe's looking around and I actually did find this over in the tool section. And you can see there it's going to run you 30 bucks. And the reason why I picked this up is I'm going to call it the Kobalt Tool Check Plus is because since I already own a Wera Tool Check Plus, this comes in at 90 bucks for the metric set, which is what this is. I mean, you can catch a deal on it every now and then, get a little bit less, but 90 bucks is kind of that regular price for it. So it's 3 times as much to buy this Wera over the Kobalt. I've always felt like this was a little bit too expensive for what it is, but if it's something you can use, then it doesn't matter how much something costs. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to compare this Kobalt version of their Tool Check Plus to my Wera version to help you decide, is it worth to spend the extra money on the Wera, or can you do just fine with the $30 Kobalt? But let's go ahead and jump into both of these and check out the similarities and differences. I'll start out giving you the important information on the box. It is 1/4-inch drive. You have the hassle-free lifetime guarantee, so maybe that's what would be worth it to you, even though maybe the tools might not be better than Wera, but the fact that you can walk into Lowe's if you have an issue with one, maybe trade it out. I can't do that with Wera anywhere locally, so that's something to take note of. 6-point sockets. You do also get all these bits. You do get 29 bits in here. Includes a ratchet, screwdriver, 7 sockets, an adapter for 1/4-inch, also 29 bits. And then 2 tools that are, say they're for tire wheels. I think it's for like bicycle spokes. I don't have a bicycle like that to even show you how they work, but I'll show you a picture of what they say that works on anyways. And then when we get to the back of the box, here's all that information. You can pause and check that out if you want to. And then let's see, right there is the Made in Vietnam right there. So that's where this is made at. Now we'll get into looking how it works within itself. So you have kind of, again, it's very similar into the way that the Tool Check Plus works. Here I can grab this, slide my bits out, have my sockets there. Here I got the same situation. You do have to grab like the sockets and kind of slide it out because you got your fingers back here on this one. This stays stationary. So you almost got to come down here, grab your sockets to flip out your bits. They only flip out that far. So that's the kind of angle on that versus the Tool Check Plus. I can kind of flip it 100%. And with the Wera, you can see how these open up to help you get your finger in there to maybe get these bits out a little bit easier. The Kobalt doesn't have anything like that. It's just one big block. Although they are spaced out pretty decent, it's not really hard to go in there and get those bits out. So that's not too big a deal. It just doesn't quite open the same as the Wera. One thing I noticed is that shaking this, there's quite a bit of, wiggle on this right here. Tool Check, I don't get that kind of sound. So again, if a sound like that is something that's going to bug you, you're sitting there packing that around, you can hear that jiggling in your tool bag. You have to take that in consideration. As far as the sockets themselves, you get 5.5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, and 13 in the Tool Check Plus in the metric. And you can also see you get color coding. You also get the labels right here as well. Kobalt, you get nothing except for whatever's on the socket. And you can see I've got a 5.5, a 6. Let's see, I'd have to take this off and turn it, but I'm going to assume it's a 7. Got a 7 there. Also an 8, 10, 12, and a 13. That's what's included within this one. Again, they slide on and off. Let's see how hard that is. Not too bad. It's just the plastic connectors as well. Versus on the Wera, you do have metal connectors. I feel like they slide on maybe just slightly a little bit better as well. Bits, you get 29 bits. I'm not going to go crazy to go through every single bit. You can kind of see they are slightly labeled down in there. Maybe I can get the light to hit that just right. You can see maybe T25 up in there. See, I think it has a bit selection. It does have the insert bits right there. You've got 28 of them. And then you got that one adapter, so it's 29 total. But right there's all the bits if you want to look at those. This one has the same exact amount of bits, same exact adapter. I'm not sure if I've got the original ones in mind, but you don't have any labeling on the Wera as far as the bits. But I would personally think that whenever you open this up, it's hard enough to see those that you're going to be looking at your actual bits to see which one you're going to grab anyways. That's kind of how the Wera works as well, unless you do have some of them that are labeled like this. So bit selection, pretty much about the same. Again, it's just the main difference is how I open this. I've got to make sure I grab these, open this. This only comes out so far. These don't spread apart. Those kinds of things like that. Does come with a screwdriver. The Wera has this one over here. Kobalt has this one. You have to get this one out by just sliding it out. Slides in, goes into place. Seems like it's held in there pretty decent. Size comparison wise on that, very similar. Kobalt is actually a little bit longer. They have a little hex deal up in here. I don't know if you can do something with that or not. Let's see. Not really. I guess you could put a small screwdriver through there for more leverage or make it a T-handle or something. I was curious if you could put a bit in it and kind of use it like that, but it doesn't look like it. So let's see about the magnet while I got that bit out actually. So here's the magnet on the Kobalt. Fairly strong, does fairly decent. It does not magnetize the bit though. It's not picking up that screw versus the Wera. Sucked in there pretty good. And that does magnetize the bit as well. So that's a big deal in my opinion. You know, whenever you have this, that does the bit retention, but doesn't really give you a lot of magnetism. I don't like that. And it might be because this one's got a little bit longer shaft, so the magnet's a little bit farther away. So Wera definitely winning on that right there. That would be a big deal to me anyway. So that's the differences in the screwdriver. Put the Wera one back up. This one goes in like that in case you don't have a tool check. And this one again just slides right in. We'll slide and close that. You also, again, have these two bicycle things. Again, I'm never going to use those, but the nice thing about that is because this case itself, in comparison to the Wera, is very close in dimensions. It's a little bit thicker, but it's actually about the same length if you pop these things off. So you could take those off again and not use them. And maybe you've got a 3D printing friend or something like that. Maybe you could have him make you something to put on this end, a cap or something else if you want to. But if you take those off, it's very similar in size. So the Kobalt overall, with those on there, you're looking at, I'm going to say 8 and 3/16. And then the thickness is the biggest difference probably between the two. You're looking at about 1 inch and 3/8 versus you're looking at about 7 inches in length here. And probably the thickest part, I'm going to call it 1 inch. Maybe a hair less than 1 inch. So the thickness is probably the biggest difference between the cases. The length, you can kind of, again, change that by taking that off if you want to. That makes them fairly similar. Up here on the top, same thing. The Wera, you only have this one slide that you got to have to kind of slide back and forth to hold both these in. But you have a ratchet and then also a bit holder. Ratchets, we'll pull those out and compare the two. Ratchet on the Kobalt, ratchet on the Wera. Kobalt a little bit longer. Biggest difference to me is going to be this head length right here. We'll put the same size bits in both of them just so we can see if one sticks out farther than the other. It's taken me a while to get used to that I can't just grab this. I think they would have done better off if they'd have done something where you could come in and grab this and open it, because again, you pretty much have to grab these sockets just to open that up. So we'll put a bit in here. Also a bit in the Wera. Put those side by side. So there is going to be some more length on the Kobalt. So could be helpful, could be bad if you're trying to get somewhere where the length is going to affect you, or the length might very well help you. That just all depends. Let's see what this does. No magnetic pickup using that right there. Shouldn't have anything on this either. So both of those are pretty much the same. I was checking to see if maybe you did on this one because you actually have a magnet in there. The Wera just goes all the way through, so I didn't expect that. So it doesn't say what the ratchet is as far as teeth or anything like that. That's the Wera. There's the Kobalt. Maybe the Wera might have a little bit more teeth. I'm not sure if it's, I'm sure it's not a huge difference. It might have a hair more. Again, it doesn't say on the Kobalt. I looked around to see. Let me see. I'll save those out for the bit holder. So that's the two ratchets. Again, I feel like Wera for the slim profile and to be able to get it in a tighter spot, because you can always put a bit holder or something in one if you need to get somewhere longer. I'd like to have that smaller amount. Slide that in. So to get the bit holder out of the Kobalt, slide this back, pull this up. Is a locking bit holder. Wera does have the wrap adapter. See what the differences are on those. The Wera, to put a bit in, you just take and press it in. That locks it into place. And then to pull it out, you just push up. It unlocks it to where you can pull that in and out. Very nice. This is a very good mechanism. Also do get magnetism with the Wera one as well. Now let's go Kobalt. Doesn't go in and lock. Let's see if you pull back. Pull back's not what you got to do. You got to push forward. So in order to put that bit in, you've got to press this forward, put your bit in, allow it to lock itself in place, and now it won't come out. And then to remove the bit, you got to push forward again, grab it, and pull it out. It doesn't pop it up. So you always basically have to have this pulled forward, putting your bits in and out in order to get those in and out. And then magnetism as well, but I don't feel like it's as good as what the Wera is as far as magnetism, because you can see that that screw keeps kind of moving around a lot, versus if I hit it with that Wera, it's pretty much staying pretty much still. So I feel like the wrap adapter is definitely better than that of the Kobalt. But again, I'm saying all that about certain things on the Wera being better, but you got to take in consideration it's 90 bucks versus 30 bucks. So again, pretty much you have bits, same amount of bits, same amount of sockets, similar size case, all those kinds of things. 30 bucks instead of 90 bucks. Maybe it's something that you want to look into. Those are just the main differences I'm seeing between the Wera and the Kobalt. But there you go, guys. There is the Kobalt 41-piece ratcheting bit driver and socket set. I'm going to call it the Kobalt Tool Check Plus. Again, 30 bucks. I think that's the big selling feature of it. And the fact that if you can take these off, it kind of makes the dimensions fairly similar, so you're not carrying such a big thing. Again, if you're using it as a bicycle toolkit, you'll want to keep these, but if you're just using it in your tool bag or something like that for normal household type work and stuff like that, you're probably not going to need these. That shrinks it down a little bit. Is the ratchet probably better than the Wera? Most likely not. Is the screwdriver? Most likely not. The sockets might be a little less. So my guess is the tools are where the difference is going to be. I'm not sure if it's 3 times the price difference in tools, and you're not going to use any of these in really high torque situations where stuff's going to break. And then also with the Kobalt, of course, you've got that lifetime warranty as well. So again, I'm just giving you the details. You only know which one's the best one for you in the price range that it is, the tools that you want to use, those kinds of things like that. I'm just comparing it to try to help you to make that decision. But let me know in the comments below which one you think is the better. Also, if you have this one and you've been using it for a little bit of time, or a Wera Tool Check Plus, let us know how much you love those in the comments below as well. As always, I hope this video was helpful. You guys stay safe, have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.